Saturday, April 8th. Took the morning, a couple hours this morning, took a look at some charts, and looks like we got some things developing. So I'm going to note what I see in the charts, and then we'll come back and check, if I was right or not in a day or two. So we're going to start out with Bitcoin. And I've got everything turned off right now, just kind of looking at Bitcoin. You can see an obvious uptrend. I can turn on something I drew on here. It's been in this pitchfork going up. And I drew in what I think might potentially be a head and shoulder. So it's really early to call this pattern, but this potentially could be a left shoulder, a head, and then it's starting to dip down. It came below this trend line. Come down here around 1140. Come back up, get its shoulder at 1180, and then I think it's going to come down below 1100. That's all based on, Bitcoin's been very choppy, and so it's been hard to. It's had a long-term trend, but it's had a lot of chop in between. I think this is going to appear like chop. It's going to form the shoulder, and then we're going to retrace. We've just had a really large run, and it's hard to point at what the cause of that run is, and I think we're just going to have a dip. The other reason I say this is a lot of the altcoins are taking off. Now they are like a seesaw. So Bitcoin's up, altcoins are down, altcoins are up, Bitcoin's down. So we're starting to see that pattern play out right now. I'm going to look at the altcoins here in a minute. So the head and shoulders is really early. Bitcoin's definitely in a 4-hour time frame, a nice red candle. I think it's got some downside. I opened a short on one broker. My long-term holdings I always hold on to, and that's what I see for Bitcoin potentially in the near future. Let's take a look at Litecoin. So Litecoin's interesting. Its news is the potential activation of SegWit. It had a tremendous pump a few days ago. It started to reconsolidate inside of a trend. It broke up out of the pitchfork and came back in. Right now, it's right on the middle line of that pitchfork, right in the middle of this new trend that's only active since basically April 1st. So Litecoin is looking to find where it's going to go and what it's going to do. Basically, this is more of a momentum trade, I think, while things get figured out. Bitcoin going down is a good thing for Litecoin because it may catch another momentum bid and could shoot up. It's really not based on the technicals because the technicals are really hard to manage when you have that kind of a spike. You can see that it's back inside of a trend. It could come back up to the top of this pitchfork, which would be .011. And with Bitcoin headed down, I would say that's more than 50%. There's a chance that it could go to at least 0.1. So from here, that'd be a decent gain. That's what I think about Litecoin. Not much else to look at technically, just because this kind of a ramp, it's hard to rely on technical analysis for that. So XMR is really interesting. I did a couple videos on XMR. I pointed out that this was a really strong support, this line right here at the bottom of the cloud. And then XMR broke down below it. Once it broke down below it, I was calling for about .014, which is way down here. But you'll notice what XMR did when I called the breakdown around here. It came down and reversed right on the Fibonacci level. So it had 2 4-hour candles that touched that Fibonacci level, and then it bounced very well. What's also helping it is that Bitcoin's down a bit, and the other altcoins are also rallying. So that definitely helps. Looking forward, Monero's got, it's crossed its 20-day, it's crossed its Tenkin line, and it's headed back up towards the cloud. It's also over its 50% fib. So if it can close a 4-hour candle above 0.172, which it's got about 40 minutes left to do that, then I think that's another bullish trend. You've got 4 green candles. You add 4 more, potentially we're back in the cloud. We do that, it's going to pull Monero towards .02. So Monero, I'm a fan of Monero. I thought this breakdown is going to be more severe. It's not confirmed reversed yet, but if it does another 4-hour candle, I would say that you could pretty much start to look at Monero coming back to .02. Let's take a look at Dash. So Dash, Dash is the coin that I'd like to short, that I have shorted, that I've had mixed results with. But looking at Dash newly, it's had a TK cross on the 4 hour, so that's bullish. It's coming into and about to enter the bottom of the cloud. Now the cloud is going to act as resistance. However, it's got a big room to run inside that cloud. So if it can get into the cloud, and I would say I would actually wait on this. If it can print 2 4-hour candles that are fully in the cloud, like nothing touching, then I may start to look at opening along with the target at the top of the cloud, which would be .0789. So if we can get some few candles in here, we've got a TK cross, which is bullish. If we can get through the resistance of the cloud, if we can print a couple 4-hour candles that are 100% in the cloud, then you start to look at, well, I think we can get up to the top of the cloud, and you'd set your stop at the bottom of the cloud. So you'd have a pretty good risk to reward ratio if you did this. If you open, like, let's say here, target here, stop here, I think I'd have to take that trade. Even though I'm not a Dash fan, just from the technical analysis, that looks like something that I'd have to do. So keep your eye on Dash. And then Ethereum. So Ethereum has a cloud a little bit similar. It had a twist. So Ethereum has this twist here. It's also somewhat obeying the Fibonacci levels. It's bounced pretty well in the last 4 candles, 4-hour candles, so the last 12 to 16 hours. Let's see, what else do we want to turn on for this? Let's try this. Yeah, so this is this indicator is the Bollinger Bands. So the cloud is no longer Ichimoku, it's the Bollinger Bands. And we've got the red line is the 20-day moving average, and the green line is the 100-day moving average. So you can see that they've exponential, by the way. So it lends more weight to more recent prices. Nonetheless, you see these two lines are starting to come together. If they were to cross, let's say the red were to cross over the green, that would be bearish. And they've been coming closer and closer together. So while Ethereum's up, it has an opportunity maybe to not have these two cross. If these two do cross, I would say that's bearish for Ethereum still. But with all the altcoin rallies and Monero rallying and Dash potentially rallying, if those rallies are confirmed, I expect Ethereum to just turn right back up and go north. This is just an interesting spot that it's in, that these two are coming close together. And you can see how this price comes down and touches the 200-day, then it came down and it touched it again. Then it had a little bit of a breakdown, but it came right back up to the fast moving. So Ethereum is a tough one to call, but if Bitcoin keeps coming down, then Ethereum's usually an opposite polar mirror, and you would expect Ethereum to rise while Bitcoin falls and vice versa. So that's what I'm looking at today. I'll do a follow-up probably Sunday or Monday, and we'll see how everything played out.